Hello, I am your teacher, Mr. Pacitti. Yeah! This is my classroom here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So put away your mobile phones, put away your Shane McMahons, except don't, he hasn't gone anywhere. It's time to concentrate, it's time to study. This is SmackDown Live, and this is Graded. We are kicking things off with Kevin Owens, who predictably comes out to a massive pop. He says that he signed his WWE contract 5 years ago, almost to the day. And in that time, he's stepped in the ring with heroes, with legends. But Sunday night at SummerSlam, that will always be very special to him because his family and all of you lovely Canadians all got to see him kick Shane McMahon's ass. He will remember stunnering, I'm still not sure, Shane McMahon for the rest of his life, but now it's time to set his sights on becoming King of the Ring. And then he's interrupted by, you guessed it, Shane McMahon! He's back! And wetter than ever. Less than 48 hours without Shane McMahon, aren't we lucky? He rolls some footage of Kevin Owens hoofing him in the dingle dangles. Kevin Owens rips on the Mean Street Posse, which I thought was too far. And then Shane McMahon fines Kevin Owens $100,000 dues for attacking Elias at SummerSlam. Owens sold this fine fantastically, saying that's his kid's college fund. That's a down payment on a house. And then he says to Shane McMahon, I'm asking you to reconsider. If you are a man, you will reconsider. Shane hesitates for a second and then just goes, nope, walks backstage. Cut to backstage, Kevin Owens confronts Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon does not relent, so Kevin Owens goes, you know what? Let's make it 105 then. Grabs a stool, lobs it at a TV. $5,000 for a TV. Vince, you're getting ripped off, mate. This was a fine opening segment. It gets a B-. Kevin Owens was really great here, and as disappointing as it is to see Shane McMahon back on TV after ruining the weekly shows for so long, I can't help but feel that maybe this should go on for a little bit longer. Let me explain. At SummerSlam, Shane McMahon was kicked in the love eggs and got a stunner. And that's fine. That was good. It was a great moment. However, after so long of Shane McMahon, I want to see him fall off something massive. Absolutely huge. I want him brutalized and written off for good. So, if this goes on for one more month, that's okay. I feel like I've been saying that for a long time. I think it's okay. Time for a match. It's Charlotte Flair taking on Ember Moon, fresh off of Charlotte's win over Trish Stratus and Ember's not win over Bayley. Great match here, fast paced from the get-go. Ember especially intense in this one, and I'm glad that it was as competitive as it was, because if Charlotte had just squashed Ember following Ember's loss on Sunday, that would have really harmed her at this point. Ember Moon with a great dive to the outside, Charlotte Flair locking in the walls of Jericho, and then Ember Moon nails a code breaker. Chris Jericho return confirmed, but Ember Moon taps out to the figure eight after 8 or 9 really great minutes. As much as I would have liked to see Ember Moon pick up the win here, it was pretty predictable that Charlotte Flair would be the one standing tall at the end of this match. I'm going to give it a B+ because Ember Moon did look strong in defeat and it was just a really good match. Bryan and Rowan are out next. Daniel Bryan says that there is now no question that somebody is out for Roman Reigns. However, Buddy Murphy, you are a liar! You gave the wrong name. The crowd chant, it was you! It was you! And Daniel Bryan goes bozo and says that tonight they will prove that it had nothing to do with them. Walks backstage. We will get back to this later. Roman Reigns versus Buddy Murphy is up next, and I think it's fair to say that none of us would have been especially shocked had Roman Reigns just squashed Buddy Murphy here, in the same way that none of us would have been especially shocked if Charlotte Flair had just squashed Ember Moon. But once again, they didn't do that. What we got was another fantastic match. Buddy almost puts Roman away following a knee strike and then lays in some vicious looking kicks on the mat. And from a character standpoint, you really got the impression that this was just so important to Buddy Murphy. He was super intense here, and that's exactly the way it should have been. The two brawl to the outside. Roman Reigns throws Buddy Murphy hard and high over the announce table. Roman looks to hit the drive-by, but Buddy dodges, and then throws Roman into the ring steps and then hits the double knees. Murphy almost puts Roman away with a dirty dirty pin. His feet were on the ropes. And then he drops the double knees again for a great near fall. Roman hits the Superman punch, but Buddy Murphy kicks out. And Roman, selling this so well, he's just going like, what the hell? This guy is tougher than I thought. Roman goes for the spear, but Buddy hits him with a knee. Corey screaming, Buddy's gonna do this. The crowd are so hot at this point. And then fast forward 2 minutes, Roman hits the spear and picks up the win. But I'm not complaining. After the match, Roman Reigns gives a sort of respectful nod like, wow, okay, yeah, you're really, really hard. Tom Phillips shouting, the secret is out. And I think that perfectly sums up what this match achieved. This is essentially the best that we could have hoped for. Buddy was never going to be booked to beat Roman Reigns. But what a match to have as your first match on SmackDown. Taking one of the biggest stars, if not the biggest star in the WWE, sorry Seth, to his very limit. This gets an A. Props to Roman Reigns for selling like a mother effer and making Buddy Murphy look every bit the star that he truly is. And you know what? I think WWE are going to give us King Corbin. However, I want King Murphy. Please make that happen. Joe versus Owens is up next, and it is now revealed that there will be a special guest enforcer for this match. Who could it be? It's the 24/7 champion Elias, obviously. Joe and Kevin trade blows. Joe trying to put Kevin away with the Uranagi, and then Kevin trying to put Joe away with the senton. And then later on, Kevin Owens hits the pop-up powerbomb. Looks like he has it won, but that bastard Elias pulls the referee out and gets in the ring. So Kevin gets in Elias's face. It looks like he's about to hit him. Then, out of nowhere, Samoa Joe rolls up Kevin Owens. Elias quickly drops to the mat. Boom, boom, boom. Your winner with a fast count. It's Samoa Joe. Wasn't a fan of this at all. It gets a D+. Everything felt rush, and I would argue that this helped absolutely nobody, especially after Samoa Joe picked up such a dominant win. He squashed Sami Zayn on Raw, and now here he is on SmackDown, admittedly against one of SmackDown's top guys, but still, he needs help from Elias to win the match. It just didn't work for me. It's just not really the way that I think Joe should be portrayed. Anyway, let's go backstage. Daniel Bryan and Rowan go into the men's locker room, and just like Roman Reigns did a few weeks ago, they clear everybody out. Bryan, in a softly spoken but increasingly intense voice, sits down and says to Buddy Murphy, you need to tell everyone you lied. Admit you lied. Tell everybody you lied. Tell everybody you lied. Bryan is fantastic here. Tell everybody you lied! Rowan then starts beating Buddy Murphy down while Bryan berates him, and then finally he says it. I lied. I lied! A touching tribute to one Eddie Guerrero. Bryan was just so sinister here. The last thing he says is, you know what? I just really hate liars. And then Rowan throws Buddy Murphy into a bin. But the Roman stuff is not over yet. We will get back to it. Main event time, and it is Big E and Xavier taking on Raw superstars, The Revival. However, before the match starts, Randall Keith appears on the ramp and cuts a fairly average promo where he says, hey Kofi, you're scared and you ran away at SummerSlam, and you don't have to stand on the sidelines tonight like a cheerleader. Let's make this a 6-man tag. Yeah, 6-man tag main event. Love those. Kofi and Orton start off in the ring, but Orton's like, nah, tags in Dawson, and then the New Day beat down on Dawson for a bit. He starts a comeback, and then who'da thunk it? The heels, thanks to various heel tactics, beat down on Xavier Woods for like 10 minutes. Orton throws Xavier into the announce table just before the break. We come back, the Revival are still beating Xavier down. Xavier finally manages to get the hot tag. In comes Big E with lots and lots of belly-to-bellies. Revival make a bit of a comeback, but not for long. In comes Kofi Kingston, who takes out the Revival, and then Randy Orton goes for an RKO, but Kofi gets out of it and then nails a sweet dive to the outside, taking out Randall Keith too. I really like the finishing sequence. Xavier trying to battle back, but his arm is all limp. They've been working on the arm, and he eats a shatter machine, and that's your lot. The Revival picking up the win for Team Bad Guy. After the match, the Revival start beating down on Xavier and Big E. Kofi tries to make the save, but he ends up eating an RKO, and then Xavier eats an RKO, and then Big E eats an RKO, and then Kofi Kingston eats another RKO for the lols. The match was fine. It gets a C+, but I don't think it was especially impactful. Like, I think WWE needed to do something a bit more after the disappointing SummerSlam encounter, but I guess there's lots of time to build to the next WWE title match between Randy and Kofi. I guess it's also interesting that with the Revival picking up the win, maybe they will challenge the rest of the New Day for the titles. I don't know. But forget that. Fortunately, this wasn't the end of the show. Let's go backstage, and Roman Reigns is confronting Daniel Bryan and Rowan in their locker room. Bryan tells Roman Reigns to apologize. Roman Reigns does no such thing. He starts squaring up to Daniel Bryan, at which point Daniel Bryan goes, whoa, 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 hold your horses. Me and Rowan here, we've been conducting our own investigation, and next week, live on the USA Network, we will reveal who tried to kill Roman Reigns. Was it Officer Bob Brady, or Jimbo, or the 1991 Denver Broncos? Seriously though, a great sell for next week's episode. I'm absolutely loving all of this whodunit stuff. I'm so glad that they didn't rush it and book a match with Roman at SummerSlam. They've nailed this, absolutely nailed it. It was a great thread running through the entire episode of SmackDown last night. This absolutely is deserving of an A. So, a pretty decent episode of SmackDown Live. I thought the second half was weaker for the most part than the first half. There were some great matches in the first half. Charlotte and Ember was great, Buddy Murphy and Roman was great, but I thought the main event was a little bit weak, and the Kevin Owens Samoa Joe stuff did not work for me at all. However, overall, this week's episode of SmackDown gets a solid B. This takes me back. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.